Have you ever found yourself caught in a moment where the air feels charged, where every glance, every pause seems to carry a hidden meaning? In the intricate dance of modern dating, women often take the lead, not with bold steps, but with subtle, almost invisible moves that pull men into a chase they don't even realize they've joined. It's a quiet art, one that makes her seem like the ultimate prize, the one worth pursuing, while leaving you wondering how you ended up running after her shadow. But what if I told you this isn't entirely real? What if the allure, the game, the dynamic itself is more illusion than truth? Welcome to a journey where we peel back the layers of this intricate interplay, where I'll guide you through the subtle ways women shift the dating landscape, nudging men to prove their worth at every turn. This isn't about pointing fingers or casting blame, it's about seeing clearly, about understanding the reality beneath the surface, so you can decide how to move forward with power, with purpose, with peace. I come to you as a young American philosopher, a woman shaped by the stories of resilience I've witnessed, a linguist who dissects the unspoken, and an advocate who believes in empowering women while illuminating truths for all. My years as a psychologist, storyteller, and content creator have taught me to blend logic with emotion, to weave stoic wisdom with real-world experiences, and to craft narratives that resonate deeply, especially with women seeking freedom and strength. Today, I'll take you through this exploration with a voice that's both fierce and tender, drawing from the struggles and triumphs of women I've known, from the streets of Chicago to the quiet towns of Ohio. By the end of this, you'll not only sport these tactics, but also learn how to stand firm, to reclaim your ground, and to stop chasing shadows. If you're ready to see the dating world through a lens of clarity and courage, let's step into this together and unravel the dynamic that's been playing out all around us. Testing your patience. Picture this, you're sitting on your couch, the glow of your phone casting a soft light across your face. You've just sent a message to Sarah, a woman you met at a friend's gathering last weekend. The night had been electric, her laughter rang like a melody, her eyes caught yours across the room, and you'd parted with a promise to talk soon. Your text is simple, playful, "Hey, still thinking about that terrible joke you told, got any more?" You hit send, a smile tugging at your lips, expecting a quick reply. And one of the most underrated weapons, you have a well-placed compliment. The clock ticks past midnight. Nothing. By morning, still silence. Your mind starts to spin. Did I come on too strong? Is she not interested? What's happening here? This isn't just a random delay. Sarah isn't buried under a pile of work or lost in a yoga class. She's testing you. She's watching how you handle the quiet, how you respond to the void she's left. I've seen this play out countless times in my work with women across the country. Take Emily, a single mother I met in Chicago back in 2022. Over coffee, she shared her dating strategy with a wry smile. I wait a day, sometimes two, before texting back. If he sends another message, I know he's hooked. Her eyes sparkled with a mix of mischief and calculation. She wasn't cruel, she was clever. She understood a basic truth of human nature: we value what we wait for. By stretching out the silence, she made herself seem rarer, more desirable, a prize just out of reach. I remember sitting with Emily in a bustling diner, the clatter of plates and hum of voices filling the air as she explained her reasoning. "It's not about being mean," she said, stirring her coffee absently. "It's about seeing who's patient, who's worth my time." She'd learned this from years of dating as a woman balancing a child, a job, and her own dreams. Patience was her filter, her way of sifting through the noise. Men who chased her hard revealed their desperation. Those who waited showed a quiet strength she craved. But here's where you can rewrite the script. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, offer a lifeline in moments like this. They spoke of apathy, not apathy as we might think, but a deep, unshakable calm, a peace that holds steady no matter what storms rage outside. Imagine you're not just a guy waiting on Sarah's text, but a stoic soul standing on solid ground. Instead of firing off a second message, "Hey, you there?" you set your phone down. You lace up your sneakers and head out for a run, the crisp air clearing your mind. Or maybe you grab a book, losing yourself in its pages, or call a friend to catch up over a beer. Hours later, Sarah's name lights up your screen. "Hey, sorry, got caught up." She expects you to jump, to flood her with relief or eagerness. But you don't. You wait a beat, maybe an hour, maybe a day, and reply, "No worries, been busy too." Your tone is light, your comment shaken. This isn't a game of tit for tat, it's a reclaiming of your power. I've spoken to women in empowerment workshops from New York to Seattle, and they've told me the same thing. A man who can wait, who doesn't flinch at silence, stands out. In 2023, at a gathering in Brooklyn, a woman named Tara, a graphic designer with a sharp wit, put it perfectly: patience is sexy. It says he's got a life, that he's not just sitting there needing me to fill it. She leaned forward, her voice dropping conspiratorially. That's the guy I text back faster. When you refuse to chase, you're not just passing her test, you're setting your own. You're showing that your time, your energy, your attention are treasures you don't scatter carelessly. And trust me, Sarah notices. She starts to wonder, why isn't he rattled? What's keeping him so steady? Before long, the one who was testing you might just find herself reaching out, drawn to the quiet strength you've shown. This isn't about being aloof or distant, it's about knowing your worth. I think of my own grandmother, a woman who raised 5 kids on an Ohio farm with no fanfare, no filters, just a steady, unspoken resilience. She didn't need to play games because her value was real, rooted in her actions, not her silences. In dating, though, those silences are often strategic, a tool women use to shift the balance. But you don't have to tip it back with frantic moves. You hold your ground, not out of pride, but out of peace. And that peace, it's a magnet, pulling her closer without you lifting a finger. Are you in demand? Now let's shift the scene to a different moment, a different woman. You're texting Lisa, someone you met at a mutual friend's barbecue. She's vibrant, quick with a laugh, and your chats have been flowing like a river, easy, natural, full of promise. You feel a spark, so you toss out an idea: how about we grab drinks Friday night? Her reply comes, but it's not what you expect. I might have something going on, I'll let you know, she says, her words vague, her tone non-committal. You brush it off at first, maybe she's just busy. But then it happens again. Plans float in limbo, her response is slow to a trickle. I'm not sure yet, she says another time, leaving you hanging. What's going on here? Is she losing interest, or is there something deeper at play? This is Lisa probing your options, testing the waters to see if you're a man in demand or a suitor with no other bets on the table. I've seen this tactic unfold in real life, and it's as old as dating itself. I met Maria, a 32-year-old teacher from Los Angeles, at a women's resilience seminar in 2021. Over a glass of wine after the event, she opened up about her dating life post-breakup. I don't say yes right away, she admitted, her dark eyes glinting with intent. If he's too quick to push, too available, I figure he's got no one else in his life. I want a guy who's got options, who's not just waiting on me. Her strategy was deliberate: create ambiguity, step back, and watch. If you chase, you're desperate. If you hold steady, you're intriguing. Maria's story stuck with me because it mirrored so many others I'd heard. Women like her aren't always playing hard to get for the sake of it, they're sifting, searching for a man whose life is full, whose confidence doesn't hinge on their every word. Let's paint a picture with a real example. My friend James, a graphic designer from Portland, met Claire at a bookstore in 2021. Their first date was a whirlwind: coffee turned into a walk, then dinner, the kind of night where time slips away unnoticed. But afterward, Claire's responses grew hazy. Maybe this weekend, she'd text, never locking anything down. James could have chased, bombarding her with follow spoons: what about Saturday? Sunday? Instead, he leaned into his own rhythm. Cool, hit me up if you're free, he'd reply, then dive back into his work, sketching designs for a new client. A week later, Claire texted, your heart's pinned down. He laughed, just living my life. By not pursuing, he turned the table. Claire, intrigued by his ease, started reaching out more, drawn to the man who didn't need her to complete him. This is where stoic wisdom becomes your ally again. It's not about pretending you don't care, it's about knowing you don't have to beg. When Lisa dangles ambiguity like a carrot, don't bite. Let her words hang there unanswered for a while. Maybe you reply later, no rush, let me know what works. And then, you carry on, head to the gym, meet a buddy for a beer, lose yourself in a project. You're not sulking or scheming, you're living. Your calm detachment plants a seed in her mind: what's he up to? Does he have other plans, other people? She starts to wonder, and that wonder shifts the dynamic. Suddenly, she's the one curious, the one reaching out to bridge the gap. I've seen this shift in action. In a 2023 workshop in Austin, a group of women shared how they tested men this way. One, a nurse named Priya, said, "If he's cool with my maybe, I respect him more. It's like he's got his own thing going." Her words echoed a truth I've learned over years of studying human connection. Scarcity doesn't just work one way. When you show you're not tethered to her every move, you create your own rarity, your own value. Lisa might think she's holding the reins, but your steady pace says otherwise. You're not a man scrambling for her attention, you're a man with a life, and that's a quiet power she can't ignore. The illusion of high value. Let's step into the digital age where screens paint pictures more vivid than reality. You're scrolling through Instagram late one night, and there she is, Jessica, a woman you've been texting for a few weeks. Her feed is a masterpiece: sunsets in Bali, a latte art heart from some chic CF selfie, in a designer dress that screams effortless glamour. Her captions are confident, almost poetic, living my best life. You meet her at a bar a few days later, and she's every bit the image, polished, witty, her presence commanding the room. She's out my league, you think, a little awestruck. But is she really? This is the illusion of high value, a carefully curated facade women used to make you chase a mirage. I've walked alongside women who've mastered this art. In 2022, I mentored a group of young women in Seattle, teaching them to harness their stories for empowerment. One, Amanda, a 25-year-old barista with dreams of starting her own business, showed me her phone one rainy afternoon. "Look at this," she said, swiping through her Instagram. Flawless photos her at a rooftop party, her with a vintage camera all filtered to perfection. "Guys message me all the time because of this," she grinned, adjusting a filter on her latest post. But later, over tea, she let the mask slip. "I've got student loans piling up. My apartment's a mess in, not that girl online." Her real life didn't match the glamour, yet men flocked, captivated by the illusion she'd spun. Think about your first date with Jessica. She sweeps in, hair cascading just so, wearing a sleek dress that probably cost more than your rent. She name-drops her amazing job, something vague but impressive like consulting, and you're hooked. She talks about her travels, her accomplishments with an air of unshakable confidence. You start to feel it, she's rare, special, a woman who has it all together. But as the night wears on, you notice the cracks. She fusses with her lipstick in the reflection of her phone, drops a hint about how long it took to get ready, maybe even gets defensive when you ask about her work in detail. That confidence? It's a performance, a costume she's wearing to dazzle you. I think of my grandmother again, a woman who never needed a filter. She'd stand in her kitchen, apron dusted with flour, her hands rough from years of work, and there was a quiet strength in her that no Instagram post could capture. Jessica's game, though, relies on you buying the act and you seeing the glossy surface and assuming it's gold all the way through. It's rooted in psychology, scarcity, and perfection breed desire. If she seems untouchable, flawless, you'll want her more. You'll chase, thinking you need to prove you're worthy of her orbit. But stoic self-awareness cuts through the haze. Pause and ask, is this real or just a show? Don't chase the image. When Jessica flaunts her perfect life, nod, smile, but stay grounded. "Looks like you've got a lot going on," you might say, your tone warm but steady, not dazzled. You don't form a probe, you let her talk, but you don't buy the hype. Your unshaken calm shows you're not swayed by smoke and mirrors. You value substance, not just sparkle. And that's when the shift happens. Jessica starts to wonder, why isn't he impressed? Why isn't he chasing? Her illusion falters against your clarity, and soon she's the one drawn to the man who sees beyond the facade. I've watched this unfold in real time. In a 2024 conversation with a friend, Alex, he described meeting a woman like Jessica. She had this vibe, like she was too good for everyone, he said, sipping his coffee. But I just kept it chill, asked her about her day, not her Instagram. By the second date, she was opening up, dropping the act. "You're different," she told him, intrigued by his refusal to play the game. True value doesn't need a spotlight, it shines in the quiet moments. And when you seek that instead of the illusion, you rewrite the dance entirely. Emotional manipulation. Now let's turn to a stormier scene, one where emotions run high and the stakes feel personal. You've been seeing Rachel for a month and things have been good, late night talks, shared laughs, a rhythm building between you. But one night, you argue over a cancelled plan. She wanted to see a movie, you had to finish a work project. Voices rise, words sting, and she storms off. Days pass with no word, a heavy silence settling in. Then, out of the blue, your phone buzzes. It's her Instagram story, a sultry selfie, her in a low-cut top captioned, "Feeling free tonight." Your stomach twists. Is she flirting with someone else? Trying to make you jealous? This is emotional manipulation, a calculated move to tug at your heartstring and pull you back into her orbit. I've sat with women who've wielded this tactic like a weapon. Tonya, a 35-year-old nurse from Atlanta, was one of them. I met her in 2020 during a counseling session, her scrubs still wrinkled from a long shift. She'd been dating a guy for months, but after fights, she'd go silent, then post something provocative, a beach photo, a night out shot knowing he'd see it. It's like a reset button, she told me, her voice steady, but her eyes betraying a flicker of guilt. He gets jealous, texts me, and we're back on. It wasn't about vanity, it was about control. By stirring his insecurity, she regained the upper hand, making him chase her all over again. I saw this play out with a friend, Mike, in 2019. He and his girlfriend, Laura, hit a rough patch after he missed her birthday dinner for a work emergency. She went quiet for 3 days, then posted a bikini photo on her story, captioned, "New friends, new vibes." Mike's jaw clenched as he showed me the screen. "She's trying to mess with me," he muttered. He nearly called her, desperate to fix things, to ask who she was with. But then he stopped. He took a breath, remembered a conversation we'd had about stoicism, and set his phone down. 2 days later, Laura texted, "You didn't even react." Her game had faltered against his comm, and she was the one reaching out, rattled by his silence. This is where stoic resilience becomes your shield. When Rachel's selfie hits your screen, that wave of jealousy and confusion crashing over you, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, why am I shaken? What's this stirring in me? You can't control her posts, her captions, her intentions, but you can control your response. Don't chase the bait. Don't text her, "Who's that for?" or "Are you okay?" Instead, let it sit. Go for a walk, cook dinner, focus on something that grounds you. Your peace is your power. When she doesn't get the reaction she expects, no frantic messages, no pleas, she starts to wonder, why isn't he biting? What's he doing that's keeping him so steady? I've seen women admit this backfires beautifully. In a 2023 workshop in Denver, a participant, Lena, laughed as she recounted a similar move. "I posted a hot photo after a fight thinking he'd freak out," she said. "He didn't. He just liked it and moved on. I was the one obsessing after that." Her tactic, meant to manipulate, ended up flipping the script. When you refuse to be rattled, you're not just dodging her trap, you're showing a strength that's rare, a confidence that doesn't bend to superficial games. Rachel might think she's pulling levers, but your comm says otherwise. True value doesn't need to flaunt itself with a self-eye, it lives in the quiet, unshaken spaces, and that's where you stand. The disqualification game. Let's move to a lighter moment, one that turns sharp unexpectedly. You're on a date with Kelly, a woman you met through a friend. The evening's been smooth, drinks at a cozy bar, conversation flowing over the clink of glasses. You're laughing about a movie you both love when she tosses out a curveball. "I usually date taller guys." It's casual, almost offhand, but it lands like a dart. Your mind races. Do I measure up? Should I say something? This is the disqualification game, a subtle test to see if you'll scramble to prove yourself worthy. I've counseled women who use this move instinctively. In a 2023 session in San Francisco, a participant named Nina, a 29-year-old marketer, laid it bare. "I'll say something like, 'I thought you'd be more ambitious,' just to see how he reacts," she said, her fingers tapping the table. "If he bends, if he starts explaining himself, I know he's not solid." It's not about the floor itself, height, job, whatever, it's about power. By nudging you down, she elevates herself, watching to see if you'll chase her approval. Most men stumble here. They defend, "I'm not that short, I just slouch sometimes," or try to impress, "Well, I'm working on a big project right now." It's a trap. The moment you justify, you've handed her the reins. But let's look at a different path. I met Tom, a carpenter from Denver, at a community event in 2022. He told me about a date where his match said, "I thought you'd be more corporate." Tom didn't flinch. He grinned, "I like my hands dirty." Keeps life real. No defense, no groveling, just poise. She softened, intrigued by his ease, and by the night's end, She was asking him about his work, drawn to his quiet confidence. Stoicism preps you for this. The Stoics taught us to expect challenges, to visualize them before they strike. Imagine Kelly's comment coming not as a surprise, but as a test you're ready for. When she says, "I usually date taller guys, don't blink. Laugh lightly, good thing I'm me then," or "Tall's overrated, more room for personality down here." Your tone is playful, your calm and shaken. It's not about dodging her words, it's about showing they don't shake your core. She's not defining your worth, you are. I've seen this shift dynamics in real time. In a 2024 chat with a group of women in Boston, one admitted, "When a guy doesn't bite at that stuff, it throws me off. I start wondering what he's got that's so solid." Kelly's dart isn't your truth, it's her probe. When you stand firm, not out of defiance but out of self-assurance, you flip the script. She's left questioning, not you, and that's where your power lies, not in chasing her validation, but in owning your own. Fear of lost tactics. Weeks into texting Mia, a woman you met at a concert, things feel steady, daily chats, a couple of great dates, a rhythm forming. Then out of nowhere, she vanishes. No replies to your last message, just a curt "busy days ago." Your phone stays silent and doubt creeps in. Did I mess up? Is she gone? This is scarcity, a fear of lost tactic designed to make you chase harder, to pull you into a spiral of need. I've known women who wield this like a blade. In 2020, I worked with Priya, a colleague in New York. After a date, she'd go cold hours, sometimes days, watching how men responded. "If he freaks out, text me 10 times. I know he's too needy," she said over lunch one day, her fork poised midair. "I want someone who can handle it." It's primal psychology. When something slips away, we want it more. Mia's silence isn't accidental, she's testing your grip, hoping you'll clutch tighter. But here's a story of resistance. David, a painter I met in 2021, faced this with Sophie, a woman he'd been seeing. After 2 solid dates, she went quiet, short texts, no calls. David's instinct was to chase, "Hey, you okay? What's up?" Instead, he leaned into Stoic wisdom, recalling memento mori, nothing lasts forever. He focused on his canvas, losing himself in brushstrokes. Days later, Sophie called. "You didn't even check in." He replied, "I figured you'd reach out if you wanted." His calm flipped the chase. She pursued him, drawn to his steadiness. When Mia pulls back, don't panic. Stoicism teaches us to embrace impermanence, to let go of the need to cling. Her absence isn't your loss, it's her move. Let it be. Go live your life, paint, run, read. When she resurfaces, "Hey, been swamped," you reply, "No worries, same here." Your piece says you don't fear losing her, and that shifts the power. She wonders why you're not rattled, and soon she's the one reaching across the silence. The social media trap. You post a gym selfie, sweat glistening, feeling strong. Minutes later, Jenna, a woman you've been chatting with, likes a heart emoji, no less. Your pulse quickens. Does she like me? This is the social media trap, a subtle bait to pull you into pursuit. Jenna's not confessing love, she's testing your reaction. I've seen this in my SEO work. Engagement drives attention. Lisa, a client in 2023, likes to keep guys guessing. "I'll heart their story, and they're texting me in 10 minutes, she laughed. It works. Men chase, she controls. But Stoic detachment saves you. Jenna's emoji isn't a vow. Like it back, move on. Don't text, "Hey, saw you like that." Your comm says, "I don't jump at crumbs." She'll wonder why you didn't bite, and that wonder pulls her closer. The inverse mating strategy. Men cast wide nets, women seek the best catch. Natalie, poised and selective, ignores most suitors, replying only to you. She's rare, you think, and chase. This is the inverse mating strategy, quality over quantity, inflating her value. In 2024, Grace, a lawyer, told me, "I don't settle," making men vie for her. It's not always real worth, it's perception. Stoic clarity asks, is she exceptional or strategic? Don't chase the facade. Value depth and she'll seek your substance. When Natalie plays selective, nod but don't bend. "Cool, I'm picky too," you say, steady. Your focus on real connection shifts the dance. She pursues the man who sees beyond the game. How to counter her tactics. So how do you break free? Masculine indifference, not coldness, but a calm rooted in self-worth. Delay replies, don't over-pursue, build your life. When she tests, laugh it off. John, an engineer I met in 2022, stopped chasing after a woman's gains. She pursued him, drawn to his unshaken core. Stoic Atarasha, inner tranquility guides you. Her tactics work only if you react. Stay grounded, and you're not just a player, you're the prize. True strength isn't chasing, it's standing firm, letting genuine connection find you.